everybody. Welcome back to the Cabral HouseCalls, the weekend edition of the Cabral Concept, answering our amazing community's questions each and every weekend. So as I open up the community document that my team does such a great job collecting all of your questions from, StephenCabral.com/askCabral, we're going to get started. So as I always say, can't provide any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. Now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let's find out the underlying root causes of these ailments people are suffering from. Always love to be able to answer your questions. And of course, if you have your own, do feel free to submit it just at StephenCabral.com/askCabral. All right. Today's first question is from Bettina. Bettina says, hello, Dr. Cabral. I would like your opinion on an EFSA warning about 3 supplements: ashwagandha, ashwagandha intenso, brain life, and curcumin C3 complex. The EFSA reports that ashwagandha may affect immune system and thyroid function, while curcumin may impact the liver, the GI system, and during pregnancy contribute to lower birth weight. EFSA sets maximum daily intake of curcumin at 210 milligrams for a 70 kilogram adult. Brain Life contains 600 milligrams. C3 contains 1,000 milligrams, which both exceed the threshold. Okay, so totally understand where you're coming from. I've talked about this before, and this is a European Union, European Food Safety Authority recommendation. We have been using, and not just me, again, I've been using nutritional supplements in practice, let's call it 30 years, right? About 30 years or so. Okay, less in the beginning when I was working part-time with clients, and then more so since the year 2000. Okay, lots of data. I've read up and down, back and forth, as many of the ashwagandha, curcumin, and other supplement studies that you can imagine, right? Like my degree is literally as a doctor of naturopathy. When I took my board exam, you wouldn't believe, so 42 specific books, massive books to study for this board-based exam. And I like to cover all my bases, so you better believe I read all of those big textbooks. And I'll tell you this, it's good to err on the side of safety, no doubt about it. But what I can tell you is this. We've worked with well over 300,000 clients. I have not seen any issues with ashwagandha and the thyroid. None. We typically use 600 milligrams with most of our lower thyroid-based clients as part of the daily thyroid support and what's called the adrenal soothe, because it helps to lower cortisol, which then helps thyroid to function better. So we know that. We've used consistently, we use 1,000 milligrams, which is 1 gram of curcumin on a daily basis with clients. We're typically using 3 to 4 grams in terms of cancer-based support. But again, I gave you my disclaimer, can't provide medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. Never seen any issues with liver, never seen any issues with GI dysfunction. Now, for some people, it does lower blood sugar levels. And so we want to be cognizant of those things. But we're only using it. We're not using this as blanket statements. We're saying if you need this product, we use it to help balance the body. So that's what we do. I myself take about 1.5 grams of curcumin every day. And so I run my blood work 2 to 3 times a year. No, actually at least that. I run it almost once a quarter for various labs. So we'll say 3 times a year realistically. So here's the thing. I can't provide specific recommendations for you, but I have no issues with these. And these are obviously far more stringent than the US-based guidelines. So that's all I can say. Justin's up next. Hello, Dr. Stephen Cabral. I just want to start off and say I think you are the most genuine and honest person people can follow right now, and I love what you do. Well, that's very kind of you, Justin. Appreciate that. I'm about to start the 21-day detox and then plan on moving to the CBO protocol. I'm an ectomorph body type and I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I know in previous podcasts you've said that my body type needs a lot more carbs and protein before and after a heavy lifting workout. I want to continue to try and get some workouts in during this time to keep up my strength, and I was wondering what you'd recommend since the meals are separated by 3.5 hours. I know not to work out during the shake fast days, and I'm only doing those on the first 2 days since I'm not trying to lose weight. Okay, happy to help with this. So let's clarify. Your body needs a larger amount as an ectomorph of carbohydrates before, during, after the workout. So basically, just make a smoothie and sip it through the workout. That's what I do. It just satisfies that. It actually improves your immune system, and it improves your recovery, and it lowers stress during the workout because your body's getting in carbs right away. So it actually really works well. I'm not saying this is what everyone should do, but a Vata or ectomorph based body type, for sure, it works great. Ratios, probably more like a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio of carbs to protein. You actually don't need a lot of protein intra workout or peri workout, but you can do it in your shake. And I do. I do, let's say in my shake, well, so I do. Again, I don't want to contradicate to say what I don't do, but like I get the majority of my protein the second half of the day. So more from the shake through my dinner and keeping myself more of that autophagy based stage. But anyway, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. You're doing the right thing on your detox. If your goal isn't weight loss, remember on the detox sheet, it actually says you can add a cup of blueberries or fruit to your shake, and you're welcome to do that. So Justin, please do feel free to do that. And maybe just at your dinner, you add some sweet potato or some root-based vegetables. You're still going to stay in the detox-based phase, but that might be better for you to reduce stress, improve recovery as an ectomorph or Vata body type. Great question, Justin. Trish is up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. At different times of our lives, we all go through stressful events in life. As I've gotten older, I really don't handle stress very well. I'm 56 years old. My father is 95 years old, doing great, but I see I'm doing more and more, and eventually I will be doing more caregiving and running around between the two houses. I'm preparing my cabinet with your best supplements, which have all been amazing and work just like you say they do. So thank you. Thank you, Tricia. I do take the sleep support supplement, sleep help support, once in a while as needed. During stressful events, what do you recommend? Your adrenal soothe at dinner along with full spectrum magnesium, then the sleep support at bed, ? I know how important our sleep is and just can't turn up my mind when life gets to be too much sometimes. Thank you. Well, certainly, Tricia, we've all been there, and I totally understand that. My house looks like a natural apothecary or natural pharmacy. Literally, obviously it helps to be the founder of Equal Life, but I have all of these ready to go as needed. And so that's supplements can be taken on a daily basis to keep your body balanced. That's what I do. But then in times of greater need, they're there for you. I have sleep help support in my cabinet as well. Don't use it unless I really do need it. CBD, I have that. Don't use it every day, but when I need it, it's there. Greater amounts of activated so why don't I, instead of going through everything, what do I recommend? In terms of greater stress, our body typically needs more vitamin C, B vitamins, zinc, and then you can say glutamine, but I'm not going to add glutamine separately. Healthy gut support powder is definitely something I add to my shake, but your sleep help support. So you're on the right track. So how would it look? Activated B complex at lunch, maybe one at dinner if you need a little bit more. Adrenal soothe, 1 at lunch, 2 at dinner. Full spectrum magnesium, 1 at lunch, 2 at dinner. All of this helps to calm the body. Then if you need a little something to get to sleep, what do? Liquid melatonin and or sleep help support. So that's what I always keep on hand, and that is what I always do. When it's very stressful, I take a little bit more vitamin C, I take a little bit more zinc, and I add healthy gut support powder for sure to my smoothie if I'm not already taking it, because that has the extra glutamine. All right. Hopefully that was helpful, Tricia. We're pulling for you. One way I've looked at it is this, because I know it is stressful. I mean, being a caregiver, they've shown studies how stressful it is in your body. One way I've tried to help clients, myself, other practitioners, is to look at it like this, that you're grateful to be in the position, to be the one that other people look to and count on. Whenever I look at it from that perspective, I say, all right, I'm being called on in order to provide a service of care for another in need. And how grateful am I to be the person that doesn't need the care myself? When I look at it that way, changes everything, instantly gives me energy, and I'm thankful and grateful to be the one to be called on. All right, Sienna's up next. Sienna has to say, hi, Dr. Ball. Thanks for all you do. I ran an omega-3 inflammation test. Apparently, I came back in the top 1%, LOL. My arachidonic acid was a 4.3 to 1. Omega-6 to omega-3 ratio was a 4.5 to 1. It says the ideal is 3.1 to 3.9. Trans fat, 0.18. Omega-3 index, 8.33. I ran my cholesterol markers recently. Total cholesterol, 4.8. HDL, 1.4. LDL, 3.3. Triglycerides, 0.62. Ratio, 3.4. TSH, 1.1. Okay. It says help, low ferritin, which was a 21. I know you explained we don't look at one marker in isolation, but if it were you, what would you be looking at? Minimum effort, maximum dosage. Okay. I do psyllium husk daily, about 10 grams, and omega-3 support, as well as foundations, de-stress. Any concerns with cholesterol? I'm 43, active, healthy female, can't run the Equalife labs. I was just going to say, this is not our lab because the ratios are different. Obviously, the cholesterol was run outside of the United States. So this was run in Australia or somewhere overseas. Okay, well, so first of all, Sienna, you're doing amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. You're doing great. 43 years old, active, healthy, no doubt about it. You're not in the top 1% of omega-3, just to state that. And here's why. You're still not at a 3-to-1 ratio. So I'm not sure who shared that with you. You're close, like you're doing amazing, top 10%, but not top 1. So, because here's why. I want to give you something to shoot for. You can be in the top 1%. All you need to do is take 2 grams of an omega-3 support that's like the Equalife one. That's all. Like, that's literally it. And if you're already taking that, it might mean that your arachidonic acid is too high then, and you need to either increase your wild salmon, wild trout, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, or go to 3 grams instead of 2 grams of the daily omega-3 support. All right, then you'll be there. You'll be above a 9% because you're at 8.33, so you're so close, like you're doing amazing. I'm sure your arteries are looking good, right? But we just need a little bit more. That's all, a little bit more. Now, I read blood labs from Australia all the time, so I can give you estimates as what they would be in the US. But again, I don't know off the top of my head. So your 4.8 cholesterol, total cholesterol's about 180 to 190. So that's totally fine. Your HDL, about a 50, 55. So yeah, that's a little on the lower side, no doubt about it. But remember, your total cholesterol is a little lower. Your LDL, about 125, 130 or so. So mildly elevated. Triglycerides of 55. That's fantastic. And your ratio is a little over a 3, like a 3 to 3.5. So like you're doing well overall. I agree with you. It could be improved. However, I just did, again, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, please check out just Stephen Cabral, just my name on YouTube. It's different than the podcast. We started that about 3 months ago, and they're all YouTube exclusive videos. So the nice thing is that I teach once or twice a week specific videos. And we don't know that this is actually an issue because your cholesterol overall looks pretty good, but there is some oxidation. So for me, I would need to look at what's your hemoglobin A1C? What's your ApoB number? What's your homocysteine look like? And then for other one, what's your high sensitivity CRP? If those look good, the likelihood there's an issue going on in those arteries, very low, very low. But of course, you can increase your psyllium husk a little bit. You can decrease a lot of that oxidized based fat. That'll be helpful as well. Keep your cardio up to 150 minutes or more per week, which is about 40 minutes 4 times a week. All of that will be really helpful. Write in with our specific issues, I'm happy, or specific concerns beyond that, I'm happy to help. All right, let's do one more question today. It's from Stephanie. Stephanie says, hi, Dr. Paul. I was diagnosed with Sjögren's and lupus this year, and my doctor started me on Plaquenil. I'm a 33-year-old, and I do not want to be on this medication forever, but with being childbearing age and looking to start a family in the next year, they require me to be on it during pregnancy. I've been following your podcast for years. Use your Equalife supplements. Follow the Detox quarterly. I do the foundational protocol and immunity supplements, and I use HISPRO and mushroom supplement. My understanding of autoimmunity is the immune system is overactive. Are these supplements activating my immune system too much? What are your suggestions to do to help to be able to put my autoimmune into remission? I deal with mostly fatigue, joint pain, muscle pain. Thank you. Okay, so happy to help with this. If you haven't read The Rain Barrel Effect, please do. It's free. Just go to stephencabral.com/free book. After that, you can read Personomics. But inside of the book, I share with you, and I'll obviously give you the answer now, 90+% of all autoimmune issues start in the gut. So it sounds like you're dialing in the supplements, sounds like you're dialing in the nutrition. But if there's candida overgrowth, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, parasites, food sensitivities, or H. pylori with leaky gut, which most likely there is, that triggers the autoimmune. Now, that's because you've got lipopolysaccharides, endotoxemia, food proteins moving into your bloodstream, which is heightening the immune system. Then it's going to the weak parts in the body. Yours, genetically speaking, would be Sjögren's or lupus. Okay. So, sure, heightened immune system, overactive, sure, but overactive on one side, the Th1 side, right? So what we need to do is get to the root cause. My recommendation, and you could do this while on your medications, because again, you're on they call it biological drug, right? But that makes it sound nice because there are side effects, of course. We want to be working on what's going on with the gut. So if you can run the gut bundle, the big three, which is the bacteria and parasite stool test, the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and the IgG food sensitivity test, I would do that. If you don't want to run the stool test, then just run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test and the food sensitivity test. That'll also give you a really good indicator of what to work on. Those are included in the big five if you wanted to run the whole big five, and that, of course, is always my recommendation. If you have a tough case like autoimmune, can't recommend it enough. Check it out at stephencabral.com/big and the number 5. Of course, you don't have to work with myself and my team. You can always work with an integrative health practitioner that you trust as well. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you, everybody, for writing into the show. I'll be answering 5 more of our community's questions tomorrow. Take care. I'll talk with you then.